After the students leave, an educational facility enters a state of absolute stillness. The halls are pristine, the surfaces highly reflective, the environment completely sanitized. Reaching this level of hygiene demands a highly coordinated, industrialized physical effort. Maintaining a campus relies on an operational matrix driven by specific data points rather than visual guesswork. It prioritizes three targets: risk mitigation, the preservation of physical assets, and strict pathogen control. Designing this operational matrix presents a regulatory challenge. There is no single Australian standard written exclusively for school cleaning. To achieve compliance, a school's administration must synthesize obligations from an array of separate regulatory frameworks. This diagram illustrates those overlapping obligations. A compliant cleaning schedule intersects indoor air quality parameters, workplace health and safety laws, and building maintenance codes. When an administration fails to align these frameworks, the facility experiences fluctuations between acceptable hygiene and severe inadequacy. A consistently sanitized school relies on rigorously engineered schedules, priority matrices, and empirical validation testing. Reaching these goals requires a highly differentiated, zone-by-zone architectural strategy. That strategy begins on the exterior of the campus, well before the interior surfaces are addressed. This architectural blueprint illustrates AS 4083.2, the Australian standard for planning school grounds, which dictates the layout and built environment. The layout introduces unique material parameters. A playground surface requires exact pressure washing specifications, while a building's facade dictates strict chemical restrictions. Applying generic exterior maintenance techniques to these specialized materials introduces significant physical risk to the infrastructure. The incorrect pressure setting, or the wrong solvent, will rapidly degrade functional materials and destroy the aesthetic finishes intended by the architects. A compliant maintenance program reverse engineers its daily cleaning schedules directly from the AS 4083.2 design intent. Long-term asset survival relies on translating these architectural blueprints into rigid operational protocols. Moving inside, we apply the Area Priority Matrix. This 3D layout maps interior spaces by risk level to allocate resources. Bathrooms and canteens register as high-risk zones, requiring maximum resource allocation and hospital-grade disinfection up to 3 times daily. These are primary threat vectors, serving as the origin points for gastrointestinal outbreaks and food safety compliance failures. Standard classrooms classify as medium-risk spaces, requiring daily after-hours intervention focused on cross-contamination mitigation. Baseline tasks involve vacuuming floors, wiping down shared desks, and sanitizing high-touch points like door handles and shared equipment. Even within the medium-risk tier, the matrix demands differentiated execution. Not all learning spaces harbor the same risks. Early childhood rooms experience higher rates of physical contact and require elevated surface sanitation. Science and art labs require specialized treatments to neutralize chemical and material residues. In low-medium risk areas like libraries and assembly halls, the operational focus shifts toward managing dust accumulation and allergens. Applying a uniform standard across these diverse spaces creates vulnerabilities. Strict compliance requires scaling the cleaning intensity to match the exact risk profile of the room. To execute this priority matrix effectively, it is mapped across a 3-tiered temporal schedule, as shown in this timeline. The daily baseline lane targets the immediate mitigation of pathogen transfer and the nightly reset of high-traffic visual standards. The weekly lane captures accumulative issues. It dictates the deep cleaning of staff rooms, the detailing of library shelving, and the dusting of ledges. Both of these lanes share a severe operational limitation. Standard maintenance is constrained by high student occupancy during the term. The holiday deep clean exists in the term-based lane. This is the most critical phase for preserving the school's physical assets. During these unoccupied weeks, crews execute heavy-duty tasks that are logistically impossible during the term, like stripping and sealing hard floors, deep carpet extraction, and high-level vent dusting. This process establishes the baseline reset. It returns the infrastructure to peak condition, providing a sanitary foundation for the incoming term. Standard daily surface cleaning merely slows the natural degradation of the facility. The integration of term-based deep cleaning guarantees the long-term survival of the asset. Relying on visual observation introduces a major operational blind spot. Administrators often assume a visually tidy room is a biologically safe room. Standard visual checks are compromised by human bias and cannot detect the presence of microscopic pathogen loads on shared surfaces. Verifying these standards requires objective evidence rather than just a written policy. Objective compliance in these environments requires the strict use of ATP bioluminescence testing to accurately validate microbial levels on high-touch surfaces. This split-screen visualization demonstrates how ATP testing works. It replaces subjective observation with quantitative data, yielding mathematical proof of a successful disinfection. A formal quality assurance program fortifies this data with standardized supervisor audits, extensive photographic documentation, and rigid compliance reporting. Administrators must review these metrics annually to adapt to fluctuating student populations, building modifications, and evolving curriculum requirements. Implementing formal QA loops provides administrators with a mathematically validated record of compliance. Implementing this rigorous architecture directly impacts educational budgets. This line graph maps the financial realities. Empirical data from mid-size campuses sets the cost benchmark for a structured, compliant program at approximately $1,470 per month. Opting for minimal daily service levels creates a false economy. Inadequate daily maintenance triggers the escalating costs of reactive emergency deep cleaning to address accumulating biological hazards. Investing in a structured priority matrix with distinct daily, weekly, and term-based parameters stabilizes operational expenditure and eliminates surprise budget overruns. Ultimately, a structured cleaning program protects facility budgets, extends asset longevity, and sustains student health